But yeah, so how is this to the last AC game you played, which you already forgot the name of, Odyssey? I mean, this one has a little bit of connection to the overall Assassin's Creed story with, like, assassins and all that. I haven't really explored it yet. I think I can anytime because there's actual assassins in this. I mean, Odyssey was dated so far back that, like, the assassins canonically had not been founded yet. So it was just kind of like an RPG that existed in the Assassin's Creed universe. It wasn't really an Assassin's Creed game per se. This one does have, like, some connection to the, like, actual assassins, but they're just kind of like MLM salesmen that come in and are like, hey, we're part of this organization and you can do some missions for us sometimes, and here's a hidden blade for you. Hope you enjoy. Stuff like that we have now. I mean, clearly doesn't seem like it when I'm rocking the shirtless build, but imagine there's an invisible hidden blade there somewhere. So it's a little bit more connected there. I think story-wise, I felt a lot more so connected with Odyssey, like, for equivalent points here, because Odyssey had, like, a clear-cut objective for me to see through, where it's like, I find out that family is still out there, and I want to go and, like, reunite the family. But yeah, so Portal to the Half-Life universe, except promoted as a mainline title. I haven't played Half-Life before, I'd like to one day, so I don't quite understand, but yeah, it's basically a mainline title that's in-universe, but is really just an RPG adventure that uses parts of Assassin's Creed lore, but yeah, and is connected to the modern day storyline for like probably 5 people that still care about that. But yeah, I felt definitely better about the story in that game because there was a clear-cut objective where it's like, go find Mother. And then as you find, like, additional family members along the way, you can try to save them or kill them, like your father and your brother and stuff like that if you want to. The main objective is find your mother and then try to, like, reunite the family and stuff like that. There's, like, a very clear-cut goal and endpoint that you're working towards and you can see progress towards. Whereas this game, initially starting out in Norway, and then after a king comes in and is like, hey, I'm gonna take over everything, like, whether you like it or not, and Sigurd's dear old daddy decides to bend the knee and be under him, and Sigurd is like, what the hell? This is supposed to be my birthright ruling over this area. What is wrong with that? But rather than contesting it, he was just like, let's just go make a new home in England. And so we sailed over to England, we made our settlement over here, and you build up the settlement throughout the game, which is kind of cool. It's one of those games where you have like a home base that you make like better and better and unlock new facilities and new stuff like that, and that's kind of cool and satisfying. But rather than having a clear-cut single objective, like the clear-cut single objective of make a new home, that's done now. We did it. So now the objective is make friends with the different nations here because we're the newcomers to this place. Like, we're the outsiders that are kind of making a home here. So if we want to, like, be able to stay here long-term, we need to make friends. That isn't really a thing that has, like, a quantifiable endpoint. Like, I assume it's just going to be more and more story missions around, go do this set of quests to make friends with these people, go do this set of quests to make friends with these people, go do this set of quests to make friends with these people all over the place. So I've been doing this quest line about how there's, get out of my sovereign soil. So the quest line I've been doing centered around this place here, whatever the heck, where the original king, he's not all that happy about, like, the Viking newcomers around here. So we're kind of trying to dispose of him and replace him with a king that will essentially be a puppet leader for the Vikings here and, like, be a-okay with everybody coexisting and being cool and chill with one another. And we won the battle that took over, like, the fort and the place and got control of it, but apparently we can't have our puppet king actually be, like, a true king until we get, like, the actual guy's crown. So we went and we kidnapped his wife after tracking her down, and she just let us know where he is, so now we're going to go get him, and that's probably gonna wrap up this quest line after we get the crown and make things all legitimate. And then, hey, now this kingdom has a leader that's now all buddy-buddy with us and is cool and chill to, like, coexist instead of being like, you filthy other kinds of people, we don't like you here, and stuff like that. So, Alne River and Arwe River, and it's in the south of this area. Maybe if I keep on going down the coastline, maybe I'll find it. Unless it's on the other side there? I mean, I can try. Is this river too deep? Let's see. Immediately get off here. And I assume that there's gonna be multiple of these quests. Like, right at the beginning of the game, well, right at the beginning, a decent few hours in, right after I got my settlement here, it gave me 2 options. Do you want to go help out your dear old bro with the stuff up here? Or do you want to go, like, make friends on your own with the people that are down here? And I started doing the thing with dear old bro because the rewards looked better. But I assume the game is still going to force me to do, like, the other thing here. And then probably when I have both of those key quests done, then the game is probably going to be like, okay, here's 3 options of 3 places in the world to go make friends with or something or other. And I assume I could probably go here and start making progress on this other one at whatever point, like, kind of bounce back and forth as you will. And there isn't really a clearly quantified goal. Like, it's very up to interpretation. So I don't have, like, a specific goal that I'm working towards that can really hook me into the plot. Like, some of the subplots here, like, with this one so far, it's like, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Alright, this is the new territory here, so probably wouldn't be this. I probably gotta go back to the other side. But it's not like I'm really working towards a clear endpoint that I can see my progress along the way. Like, what is the endpoint? So, with the whole bringing the family together, I definitely felt better about the story of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And the story was also kind of enjoyable at times with, like, some of the fun. Like, it would be kind of goofy at times. Like, in that sense, you could say that this is kind of like Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and Odyssey was kind of like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Where Odyssey would have, like, its serious moments, but also, like, a decent bit of goofiness and, like, silliness. We don't really have that in this game thus far. It's definitely a lot more serious here. So I think I definitely preferred the story in Odyssey thus far, but we'll see. Maybe something will end up happening here and really hooking me as it goes on here. To take over the world, said in the most boring and generic voice possible. Yeah, maybe that's what we're doing. We're gonna make all the friends and have all the power here, and like it's not really something that has an endpoint though, you know? So I can't find myself as connected to it per se. Maybe it's not around here. Maybe I'll keep on following the shore. I don't know. I mean, and it's in some sort of crypt? Off church? I mean, maybe it's that. I went too far by going to the shore. I can try that. Gameplay-wise, I think the combat, it feels a little bit cooler. Where, in Odyssey, there was always... I mean, there's a bit of a flash before people attack in this game, too. So maybe I shouldn't be saying that. But there was more incentive to do, like, the counters. Because there's, like, a stagger meter that enemies have. So, eventually run out of English soil. That'll be the end, likely. Yeah, maybe. Run out of all the English soil that I've beaten the game. But, locate area? Oh, I guess, yeah, I am getting close then. Yeah, okay. So I guess the king is somewhere over here. The combat I'm finding a little bit more fun. The fact that there's an actual big difference between light and heavy attacks. In Odyssey, I basically just, like, spammed light and heavy attack back and forth, because apparently I got a damage boost when I did that. But mostly just hitting these 2 buttons back and forth to spam it. This game actually has a stamina meter, that blue meter down there. And as I'm dodging, it's used up. If I'm hitting them with light attacks, it actually refills my stamina meter when I land them. And when I do heavy attacks, it, like, super depletes the stamina meter. I don't know why it was kind of delayed there. So you kind of have to strategize a little bit. And in Odyssey, you can just kind of spam roll around. But here you run out of stamina, and then you're stuck not really able to do a whole lot of much. So there's a bit more strategy that plays into it. And if I do, like, the extended dodge, yeah, that's like half my stamina meter gone with that. So I can't just be spamming that. So I actually have to think about combat a little bit more. I'm finding it a little bit more engaging. And with the whole stagger meter that everyone has, it's a stagger meter kind of like Final Fantasy 16, where there's a health bar and then there's a stagger meter, which when it runs out, they get staggered and you can do a whole bunch of damage. Or Elden Ring / the Soulsborne titles is another example, though the stagger meter is hidden in those games. There's a hidden stagger meter in those games that goes down as you do damage, but also slowly goes up, so you need to be doing damage fast enough to fully deplete it, and then the enemy gets staggered, and then you can do, like, a critical strike in those games. This is more like Final Fantasy 16, where it's like, it's whittled down, they go down onto the ground, you can run over to them and do, like, a really strong hit on them, and that's kind of fun. And if you're parrying here and you actually get, like, the parry timing, it depletes the stagger meter faster. So you can still do, like, the dodge for, like, the safer thing. But if you want to play it a little bit riskier and try to time your parries, then it's gonna, like, break down their stagger meter a bit faster. So you've got, like, the risk and reward, the push and pull, as Masahiro Sakurai would put it, that makes it a little bit more engaging. Like, do I want to take this risk and do that? So generally speaking, I've yet to delve into, like, the real depths of combat with, like, a whole bunch of crazy cool abilities and stuff like that yet, because I'm still in the early game. But generally, I'm finding the combat a bit more engaging this time. I will say. I'm digging a bit more in this game. Apart from, like, the hardest difficulty thing here. I always play games on the hardest difficulty, and it was kind of insane in Odyssey where I was getting, like, 2-shot a lot of the time. But in this game, I'm getting 1-shot a lot of the time. So, like, as I'm wearing, like, DLC wear that the player wouldn't be expected to be wearing at this point. And, I mean, in Odyssey, it's like, your level could be about the same as the enemies, and they'd be really strong. This game is more like, hey, let's just make the level of the enemies, like, really tough. Like, if you look at my skills right now, my power is 31. Like, that's my level. And here, some of the beginning quests of the game, this area, suggested power, 91. Like, what? Here's the area that I'm in. And then the area that, like, right outside of my home base is a suggested power 91. When I first got here, I was probably, like, level 10. So it just throws you into the fray with, like, enemies that are so much higher level than you. What's the other stuff around here? 150, if I went and did, like, the quest over here first. 190, 310, 250. Like, there's nothing really around my level. So, I mean, it's, I guess you could argue to be expected when the description for this difficulty setting was like, for those that wish to experience never-ending torment and stuff like that. But I just feel like it's not really meaningful challenge per se, when it's just like, yep, you're either gonna get 1-shot or you're losing 95% of your health in 1 hit, as happens to me a whole bunch. So, just use my invisible hidden blade there. Whoa. And again, I'm using this equipment that I got bundled in with, like, the second DLC, since I already own that. So I've got, like, this super crazy OP Frost Flame Axe and a whole bunch of, like, Frost Flame equipment that you can't see because I took it off, like, visually to be shirtless because it's funny. The invisible hidden blade, you love to see it. So, I feel like it's a little bit much, maybe, when it comes to its hardest difficulty in this one. And if I wasn't a content creator, I don't think I'd be playing the hardest difficulty. Like, it's not unbearable, I'm getting through, but it is a little bit of a struggle sometimes. But yeah, presuming it'll be extended when we complete certain story objectives, otherwise that's a rather stingy stamina bar. I hope so, because yeah, it is pretty tiny. Yeah, I kind of don't want to imagine it. I'm glad you didn't see me there. Because yeah, I'm wearing all this stuff here that's like, what's the term? Mythical. Mythical torso. It's funnier to be shirtless. One gameplay complaint that I have compared to Odyssey, there's no fashion armor in this. In Odyssey, you could have like a set of armor on for your stats and a set of armor on for like what it looks like you're wearing. So you could customize your look while having the stats of whatever you want. Unless I'm just missing it here, there's no option for that. There's an option to show it or not, so I can essentially have fashion armor in that. I can be shirtless while having on whatever I want, but I've yet to have an option to look differently than what I have on. Maybe that's a thing that I unlock as I get more facilities in my settlement, but it seems really weird to have that in the last game and then just take away that feature in the following game, because I love that. I loved wearing whatever I wanted. But now, if I want to have, like, the best equipment, I gotta be this freaking RGB Viking here that's just constantly glowing that are shirtless. And no in between there. So yeah, I'm really not all that happy about that. I wish that there was fashion armor, quite frankly. Okay, do the little quick time event here. Now I actually have the hidden blade on, now that I'm not hiding my, what's on my arms. Is the case. Whoa! Oh, I don't hide in that. Hey boys, there's something glowing in that grass. No. He clearly saw it. So yeah, I just have like these frosty effects and these flamey effects all over me. I look so out of place. My immersion is ruined when I'm just out here glowing. Like, I kind of want to be looking like the other people here and feel like I'm really a part of this world. But I really don't want to sacrifice the stats that I get from this that feel like they're necessary. And there has not been a single enemy that I've faced yet that didn't have like the skull icon on them. I mistimed my parry that time. Also, you can shoot specific weak points and like really bring down their stagger meter, which is really cool. That adds like some more skill into it, and is making me debate about whether I want to stop playing this with a controller and start playing it with mouse and keyboard. So, oh my god, my mouse sensitivity. So I can actually aim. I am debating about it. Maybe if I did a little bit of practicing on my own time, because then I'd be able to shoot those weak points. So there's a little bit more of a skill ceiling that can go into combat when you shoot those weak points in the middle of combat and really whittle down their stagger meter. I quite like that. I really like the ship stuff in Odyssey. Like, Assassin's Creed Black Flag is my favorite Assassin's Creed game of all time, and one of my favorite, like, video games / open world games of all time, honestly. I loved exploring around the world in the ship in that, and going around, like, waging war on other ships and looting them and stuff like that. And Odyssey kind of brought that back with its ship. There's so much of the world that you can explore around and at sea, and you can engage in ship combat similar to Black Flag, and even with some improvements over Black Flag, interestingly enough. So, the part of me that loved Black Flag really loved that. There isn't that in this game, and I mean, it wouldn't make sense to be, like, doing, like, piratey kind of combat in a Viking longship in this game. But they did bring in something else, where it's like, yeah, this is all mainland, but it's connected by rivers, and you can take your Viking longship around and do raids on places. So you dock your ship right alongside, your whole crew hops off, and you do a raid instead. And that's actually kind of cool, and works really well with the Viking theme. I like that. So it's fun to go around doing raids. So Odyssey is kind of your modern Assassin's Creed ship combat game, and this is the one where it's like you're doing raids and stuff. Well, no, for using boats, but not really, like, going shooting arrows at another boat until you can hop on board the other boat and, like, take the loot that's on the boat and then keep on moving on. Like, Viking longships are pretty small for that, you could say. Not really a whole lot of room to engage in, like, boarding the other ship and doing combat and stuff like that. So doing raids and stuff makes more sense here. So yeah, the longship is very much an important part. And one thing that I liked about Black Flag is as you're sailing around, you can get your men to sing a sea shanty, and then you listen to them doing a sea shanty as you go around. And in this, you have the option between music, of them playing music, or you can switch them to tell a story instead, which is actually really cool. I found that out earlier this stream. So as you're going from point A to point B, you can hold X, and then that toggles it to, like, follow river, so that you don't have to do any inputs, and it'll just, like, go along the river automatically. And if you want something to listen to in the meantime, you can get them to either do some music, or toggle to switch it to a story, and then one of your crew members starts telling a story, some tale that they had heard, or one that they really like, and I think that's really charming, and I really like that. Oh yeah, I'm just realizing I never finished my thought about this skull here. The skull means that they're so over-leveled than you that, like, you shouldn't be fighting them. And that's been every single enemy thus far. Like, it would be enemies from time to time in Odyssey. I would usually be fighting people around my level, but they'd just be, like, super strong because of the hardest difficulty. This, I just fight guys that are so much higher level than me. So I've yet to see a single guy that does not have this skull on them. It's kind of been the case. But yeah, so I find the ship of this actually really, really charming. I really quite like it. So I'm a fan of that. So yeah, the things that I'm not a fan of is I'm not, oh my god, what the heck is he doing? Not super connected to the story. The fact that there's no fashion armor is really, really sucky. Who cares about the modern day story? It is so all over the place. That'd be a complaint there. And the hardest difficulty is a little bit much. And this I'm feeling like. Oh, and the skill screen here. I feel like there's a delicate balance that you can strike between, like, charm and usability when it comes to your UI. Going around filling these constellations is really charming. But it's not quite as easy as having a menu like this, where it's like, here's all your skills in a list. Where, like, let's say I'm trying to find a specific skill, like, where was that one that did X thing again? And then I gotta scroll around and be like, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. As opposed to just having them, like, in a simple list here. Or something. It'd be cool if there was, like, a list of all the skills for you to easily find and read all them and find the one that you're looking for. And then when you select it, it shows you where on this constellation grid they are. So while this is really charming and pretty and cool to see how you're connecting the lines and completing constellations and all that, I don't think it's the most usable kind of thing. I kind of feel like here. Because finding particular skills that you're looking for yeah, good luck. Good luck with that. Yeah, it's probably not intended to be a first run difficulty. I have no doubt about that. So there's probably my complaints. Oh, and of course, like the regular modern Assassin's Creed Ubisoft stuff, where it's like anytime you pause the game, there's an option to go right to the store, or there's all these microtransactions that you can do in a single player game. And I was a little bit surprised at first when it didn't start me out with a little bit here, because that's what they do. They always give you a little bit just to put the idea in your head of spending some, and like it's a common thing that a lot of games do to try to get you to actually spend money. So I was surprised when this started at 0, but it gave me some earlier this stream as a little starter amount. I could get the small materials pack for that amount. So, you know, the over monetization of single player games that I'll always criticize Ubisoft for here. Hi, Fran. So that is always a big con for me. But the pros, combat's kind of fun. I found it more engaging than Odyssey. The ship is really, really charming. I really like the way that it was handled. The fact that the assassins are actually a part of it, and you can do assassination contracts that I haven't really bothered to do yet. So it actually feels like an Assassin's Creed game in some way, instead of just like a in-universe other adventure game. Oh, I got another rune. Maybe I'll actually bother to assign these at some point. So, like, it hasn't done anything that's, like, super blown my socks off yet or anything. But generally, so far, I'm finding it fun. But, you know, I'm also finding it as fun as I am right now because it's something new to me after I just got done playing Odyssey. If this drags on anywhere near as long as Odyssey, and the story does end up being a nothing burger, like I've heard a lot of people say it is, and if it is just going around making friend after friend after friend with no overarching goal to work towards or anything that I can really get behind as, hey, we're getting closer to that one really cool thing that I can't wait to see how it plays out. If it really doesn't have anything like that, I can see how this game would get really boring really fast. And a lot of people have told me that this game is really boring. So, while it's definitely fun now, we'll see how long that lasts. Because if the story keeps on being the way that is, I can see how I would definitely get tired of this. Especially once I start getting towards the same amount of parts that my Odyssey playthrough had. So, right now, I'm having fun. I don't trust that to last forever, though. You know? But yeah, let's see here. Go gambling? Wait, for, oh, with the microtransactions there. Luckily, there's no loot boxes. They don't do that, at least, but still filled with, like, a whole bunch of over-monetized crap. Overarching goal is to take over the world. Ah, yes. Once I reach that goal, then, like, the story's done. And all these little side plots along the way, I can be like, wow, that sure is cool how it moved me closer towards the goal of taking over the world. Like, I think plots are really, really important in video games. Not because every video game needs to have, like, an absolute masterpiece of a plot that makes you go, oh my god, my life has changed forever because I experienced that. But just something engaging enough to give you a reason to keep playing. A reason to overcome the trials presented to you. And the game hasn't really done that yet for me. And something that you can see, like, clear progress, where as you continue to, like, do level after level, you can see how it made progress forward to that overarching goal. Like, use Assassin's Creed 2 as an example. The overarching goal is to get revenge on Rodrigo Borgia and for killing Ezio's family. It's a revenge storyline. And you make progress through taking out the people working under him and getting, like, new hints about where he is and making progress, like, up the ladder until you eventually reach Rodrigo. So as you do, like, each assassination, like, it feels like you are climbing up a ladder and making progress, while Ezio is also completing his character arc of, like, letting go of his fixation on revenge and all that. Like, there was not exactly a masterpiece, blow your socks off, out of this world amazing kind of story by any means, but something that engages you and makes you want to keep playing as you see your progress towards a goal that you care about. I don't have that in this game yet. As a fellow gameplay is better than story critic has said that inspire me, story's purpose is to motivate gameplay. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Chronicle of King Burgred's greatest victory over the Ragnarök horde. The Danes broke down the gates of Tamworth and snuffed out not only its people, but its spirit. But would that spirit die? Oh no. King Burgred, brave and wise, would outsmart the heathens and escape their ravenous claws with what they lusted for most, the royal crown. King of Mercia, he remained while the poor invaders kicked themselves at their blunder, crying and cursing so loudly for their gods to hear. They severely underestimated the brave king, who now laid in wait for his shining moment, the one that would define his reign and celebrate his great victory for centuries to come. But yeah, I remember at the beginning of my Odyssey playthrough, I was having like a lot of fun with the game for like all the things it was doing that I really liked. How different it was, how it took Origins and just made it better when I already kind of liked Origins, how it took elements from like Black Flag and I was like, oh, this is like a dream game. But when the plot wasn't really doing anything super duper interesting for a long time and just dragged on and on and on for you to make like the slowest progress. Like you take forever to find your mother for no reason. The only step along the way towards finding your mother that I actually cared about was finding your adopted father and like the relationship there and how Cassandra's relationship to her father like mattered and does matter to the overall story. That was the only step along the way towards finding your mother that I actually cared about. The rest of it was just going around the world doing side quests for random people so that they would tell you the little smidge of information about your mother when she happened to pass through the area that they live in and stuff like that, with no connection to the overall story. It just felt like an excuse to make the game longer. And stuff like that I really don't care about. So while the story generally was like, oh, this is engaging enough for me to keep on going, when it's filled with such nothing burger progress where it feels like you could cut out like 80% of this and not change the story, then it's not really going to be hooking me in. So while I did start out Odyssey like, wow, this is really fun and different and combines so many elements that I like and I'm having a lot of fun here, after a 280 part series, my new longest single playthrough on this channel, like, I was definitely pretty frustrated with Odyssey towards the end, and I'm worried that that's what's going to happen with this game. I'm in the phase right now of, this is new and exciting, and I am actually having fun, and all that. But how long is that going to last? Skirmisher. Uh-oh. But then I took an arrow to the knee. Oh, I actually got that one. I didn't even think I did. No. But then I took an arrow to the other knee. Oh my goodness, I got the other knee. Look, and then I can do the stun attack. Oh, that does so much damage. So yeah, a little bit more skill that won't go into it when you can rely on things like careful aiming a lot more than you could in Odyssey. So I like that. But yeah, if this game is as much of a nothing burger as I've heard that it is with its story, this newness is only going to last for so long, and excitement of playing this here. So yeah, I'm having fun right now, but I already know from my experience with Odyssey what is inevitably going to happen. I'm going to get to the end of this playthrough and be like, oh my god, I'm so glad I finally finished it. I never have to touch it again. Like, I know it's gonna happen. But I am having fun right now, yes. But yeah, take Mario Bros. There's barely a story even when you read the manual, but the goal is clear. Beat Bowser. All the villains and bosses you face are either connected to or work for Bowser. Yeah, like with the Koopalings, for example. There's only so many Koopalings. When you beat one, it's like, hey, that's another 1 of 8. Or 1 of 7. 1 of 8 if you count Bowser Jr., I guess. He's not really a Koopaling.
Do you mean to butter me? Stay back. Back, I say.
So it's like you've clearly made progress. Another 1 out of 7 done. You know how much closer you're getting. Oh, I guess we're killing the old king. Oh, I'm gonna punch him? Oh, alright, I'm not killing him. That's why I'm punching him. Can I still parry? I can still parry with a... I guess I have, like, armor on my, arms here. Alright, well. Because, yeah, even if that isn't a story that really engages you, it's something that quantifies your progress. Makes you feel like you are getting closer. Whatever ultimate goal here of take over the world or make all the friends, I don't really know how much closer I'm getting. Like, clearly I'm making progress when I get, like, a new friend with each one of these quest lines. But where's the end point? At what point is it enough and we did it? Like, I'm sure this is gonna wrap up the quest line of this first one here, but how many more are there going to be? And are they going to be, like, subplots that I genuinely care about? Like, at what point do they just start getting repetitive and boring? Is the question. I better read this. Wow, I can read it while I'm carrying him. Letter from Bergred. Situation has turned dire. The filthy Danes have taken Tamworth from me. I'm trapped, hiding in a muggy crypt with no telling when I may resurface. This is unacceptable. The fate of Mercia now lies in the hands of my Thane, Leofrith. but I have no faith that he can succeed. He is a loyal rat, nothing more, and is now best served as my human shield. And so, for this matter that must be resolved with the utmost urgency, I am writing to inform you that I have called upon your loyal hunters, and rest assured, you have my promise that this favor will not be forgotten. The Lord King of Mercia. We'll take Pokemon Conquest that does take the concept of taking over the world. Told early into the game, whoever owns all 17 can find the Legend of Ranzai. All the meanwhile, your antagonist Nobunaga is working to the same goal of destroy Ranzai. Yeah, and I don't think initially it shows like all the kingdoms on the map, like you have to do them in sections, but during all the subplots, whoa, it shows them all immediately. And then, like you can clearly see, hey, all these objectives on the map, make them all blue, and then I've done it. I'm shoving his head in the wall now. But yeah, one kingdom for each type, and you eventually get there. And yeah, it does feel like you're genuinely making progress there. Man, I gotta play Pokemon Conquest on this channel one of these days. I love Pokemon Conquest. If it ever gets a sequel, I'll lose my mind. Oh. Oh! Oh, it's you. I honestly didn't pay attention at first. Huh, maybe I should have just paid you. Instead of sneaking in and stealing stuff, I made you an enemy, and now I don't have friends to help me. This might suck a little bit. So this person was kind of, like, acting on both sides, my side and the king's side here, but only for the right price. Was kind of helping the king a lot more.
Time to go, my
was
lord.
kind of the case.
We're late for the crowning ceremony.
And she said, I'll give you a little bit of a hint about where he could be, but only if you pay me a significant portion of my money I had at the time. So I didn't, and I snuck in. I stole the information instead. And I guess she's not all that happy. On some side stories, you can complete the map without ending the story, such as the recruit 100 Pokemon quests. I remember doing all the sub-stories and finishing them off. I don't remember that exactly.
There! I want that Dane cleaved and butchered!
Oh my god!
You crossed me, lovely dove. Did you think I wouldn't find out? I'll send you back to the Ragnarsons in pieces. Our fates are weaved together, lovely dove.
Whoops, I hit X to attack like I was playing Final Fantasy 16 there. Whoops. Can I realistically run away from this? What happens if I go at a different exit? Is she just gonna be like whichever one I go out? What if, like, because I have a lot of experience with like studying game design in university, and a lot of experience making video essays, analyzing how games work and all that, and I've made several video games myself. I have a little bit of an inkling about how this might work. If I had to guess, there's a good chance that whatever exit you go out is the one that she'll spawn at. But she doesn't get allured immediately. Which makes me think, what if I start going out this one, just to make sure that she spawns, like that, so she's for sure there, she starts seeing me, but then I turn around and go to another exit. Has the game now decided she spawned in there, that's good enough, that's the place she's going to be? Or is the game going to be smart enough to realize that I'm trying to think about how the game thinks here, and I'm trying to, like, cheese my way out of this by sneaking out a different way? Like, how much do the developers think about what I, as the player, would think? Okay, I think I went the wrong way here. A little bit more of a complicated way to get out. Oh, maybe I can't get out the other way because of this thingamabob here. And they probably purposefully... What? Who? What? Just him? What? Oh, the snake! Oh, snakes are back in this game. Just like in Odyssey. So maybe the developers did think about it to force me out that one exit. That would have been so funny if that was a... What? While I carry him? There's no way! Okay, does she spawn over here? Does she spawn over here? Holy shit. I knew it. Look, I had a hunch. I had a feeling that the developers might just program it that whatever exit you start going out, she spawns at, but not have a specific case where if she spawns at one exit, and you go back in and go at another exit to suddenly despawn her and bring her back around. Like, that is a very niche case that, like, maybe the developers would have thought of, but I wouldn't put it past them to not think of that.
Get me off this thing.
And clearly, either they didn't think of that, or they would think it would be realistic for them to only be waiting in ambush at, like, one location, and if you go at the other one, it outsmarts
I
them.
sent him away with orders to destroy you.
Quiet.
So, either they didn't think of it, or thinks that it makes more sense for her to just be ambushing in one place. But the fact that I can slide with a body that I'm carrying is really, really funny. And I thought for sure they would have explicitly put that there to force me out the exit where I have to either fight or find a way to run away while she's there. But clearly not, when you could be carrying a body and still slide under things. That would have been a really smart thing to force me out that way if it worked like that. So I for sure have to go through that encounter, but nope, that's not the case. That's not how it works, actually. But yeah, I'm not saying for programming, but if I was in charge, I prohibit dodging and sliding when you're carrying someone. Yeah, it seems really janky and like you wouldn't be able to do it. Yeah, I do wonder, like, did I need to start going out the other side to spawn her? Oh, and while I was there, I could have gotten this stupid thing. Oops. Well, maybe I'd do it on my own time if I can be bothered.
We need to go.
Oh.
Fast.
Okay. Oh, and I can loot while on the horse. Alright, so we out of here. Yeah, she might not. They might have just programmed her in the one specific place. Either with the idea of that's the only place she's gonna be ambushing, or just programming her to spawn, like, at that place only when player comes out without that being a specific ambush spot in place in mind at all. That isn't really how words work. So I don't know how it was programmed, whether it was like an intentional thing and that's where she's ambushing, or just spawn whatever exit you come out, or however it works. Oh my god. How far away am I going? Far. It's a good thing he doesn't fall off this horse. A very good thing there. Yeah, there's a lot of guys that want to stop me. Alright, I assume this will conclude this side quest line. I'll make my first friends, and then I'll probably wrap up the stream, and then I can start making the next set of friends next time. This is what I can do. Maybe next stream will be like the whole next quest line start to finish, just like this stream was with this one. Alright, a lot of guys want to kill me. Okay. I gotta remember I can go faster with my horse. I'm not used to this whole click in the left stick, go faster thing in my Assassin's Creed games. This is a bit of a first here. But yeah. Imagine programming in a feature of randomly falling off the horse will be kind of funny. Or if someone hits me, that's when he falls off the horse. That way, how about? Because yikes.